All right, I'm gonna give you a real quick short tutorial on this dry brushing template that I built. I made this out of a lot of spare parts that I had left over. I just kind of glued them together into this like ridiculous complex looking thing. Spray painted it with black primer, and what we're going to do now is do some dry brushing on it. And the whole purpose of this is to, when you get the paint on your brush and you dab out and get rid of all of your excess paint, before you touch the model with this brush, you want to go over this template a little bit until you get the desired effect that you're looking for, and then go to the model and do your stuff. That way you're not accidentally applying too much paint to the model and goofing up, goofing up your work. Goof it up on this. All right, so let's give it a shot. So very quickly, you probably can't, well, you can sort of see it. I've got light gray and I've got silver or aluminum or whatever I got here. Just for examples, two different brushes. I'm going to get just a little bit of paint on here. I'm going to dab the majority of it off on a paper towel. And then I'm just going to lightly, you see how heavy that is right there? That's too much. Okay? So we'll just keep, it's way too much. This is why we do this. Now, I've dried off the brush some more. And let's just give it some very light. You see, this is a little bit better effect. Now, I'm feeling a little bit better about that because now I'm only capturing the highlights and not putting a huge swatch of paint on here. All right, so that looks pretty good. Now I can transfer, since my brush is at the consistency that I want it at, I can go to my model now and start working on it with what I have here because it tested out fine here. Same thing with silver. Get a little bit on my brush. Okay. Let's dab out as much as I can. And let's begin a little bit of silver. Now you can see that's a way too much. Okay, so I'm going to dry out the brush some more. And let's pick an area that I haven't done yet. All right, so you sort of get the idea, right? Get the desired effect that you want first on this template, and then go back and do the model. All right, so we'll add a little silver on some of these other little parts. Pretty cool, huh? My friend Carrie Sue is out there experimenting with washes and things like that. Now, you're very light-handed with the brush. Okay, good to go. Let's rinse out the old brush. Rinse out the other one. And while we're at it, on this particular model, I'll show you some quick chipping. All right, that's damp enough. Let that sit there and stay damp. I'll clean them upstairs. Now, let's get some, I don't know, I think I got some rust in here somewhere. How about this? German red brown. We'll use that. Go over to my Typhoon paint mixer. Get a little gentle agitation. Put a little drop of that in there in my little paint deal. And Just get you some of this like little foamy, spongy stuff. And you can, same principle. All right, get it on the end, dab off the excess paint. And we're going to go in and maybe hit some of the corners of things. And I don't know, you just have to kind of imagine where rust would show up. It's kind of hard to see. But that's what you do, especially if you're doing the edge or a corner of a tank turret or a body or whatever. It's nice little random dabs. This is how I got the effect on my M88 road wheels. To kind of give it that, and mud flaps to give it that chip paint look. Let me grab it. Right here you can see the chip paint effect on these mud flaps. And that's what that sponge does for you. Okay? What else can we do? Oh, I don't know. We could add some washes, probably. We got all kinds of different stuff here. We've got browns, panel line accent colors. I won't throw any of that in there because it's black. But how about a pigment? Maybe, how about some brown iron oxide pigment? All right. It's a very fine powder. And let's get a brush here. You can see I picked up a little bit of pigment out of there. And I'm just going to start rubbing in here. Wherever I want the rust to be. Okay. The lighting's not that good, but right in there is where the pigment is. Okay. Come in here, maybe do the same thing. See the pigment? Now what can we do? I don't know. Maybe, just maybe, we could put a light wash in there. Here's some black Vallejo model wash. Put a little wash. I'll just put a drop there. And all right, there's a wash in there. Let that dry. We'll come back and look at that after it's dry. And then a really cool rusting agent that I have is it's water soluble rust, high matte, semi-permanent. That's what the bottle looks like. This stuff is wicked awesome. And I'm just going to go ahead and paint like, well, let's just play with it. I'm not trying to sound like Bob Ross because I don't whatever. Okay, so this stuff's hardcore, man. Let's say, oh, I don't know. Let's just say this whole area is rusty. Where did I go? Where did I do this at? Oh, right here. You see how wet that is? When that dries, that's going to look pretty damn realistic. Let's say this dude's got some rusty knuckles, couple rust things here. Maybe on the edge here where the silver is. All right, let that dry. Now, as this rust stuff dries, it leaves a really cool rust effect, especially if the background color is like rubbed metal raw, and then you put the stuff on it, it really stands out and pops. But it gets this like deep, deep rust effect. And when that dries, you can add another little, some more dabs of this stuff on there, and it'll really, really bring it out for you. So let me put a little bit right here where I did the pigment. Okay, let that dry. Okay, so as you can see here, the different things I experimented with, you can see the rust stains. The dry brush looks kind of heavy in some of this stuff, but the lighter areas. So you just want to experiment on this template that you make out of your spare parts before you go to the real model. And again, once you hit the type of light airbrush, or excuse me, dry brushing that you want, and experiment with different types of brushes. Maybe you want to use I don't know, maybe go grab Mama's makeup brushes. All right, but that's what you do. You experiment, and then once you get the consistency right away, go to your model and mess with it. Now, what's cool about this is when this dries and I'm done messing with it, I'll just spray it again with black, and I'll have a fresh template every single time. That's it, folks. Very simple lunchtime modeling techniques.